8 Matras, we've got flat 12 Porsches, there's the green Piper Ferraris, there's the red Ferraris, we've got Tony Martin in there, and we've got Tommy Dunn from South Africa, hoping, there he is in that Pickford's Lola, hoping to pull off his second win. He won in front of the 20,000 people down in East London last Saturday afternoon. That beautiful Ford F3L has been driven this afternoon by Michael Knight, who won down in Cape Town in the Matra. That's him going around. This is a Ford that never really got into heavy competition, got pole position a couple long distance races, and then Ford really pulled out of motor racing at time. Look at that. That was the car that came after the Ford GT40. That has got, I think, if I'm not mistaken, a Cosworth DFV motor. And here they come up to the starting grid. It looks like Monaco. Durban has packed into the circuit. Not only Durban, we've got people that were who actually raced in these motor cars. I've seen them down here. We've got one of the main organisers, Charlie Young. You must have all heard of Charlie Young, who happened to organise the Snell parade races. We've got people like Dave Charlton. I've seen him. Peter Goch, there's Bruce Johnson, Dave Charlton, a whole lot of, all down here. Right, there's the good positions now. Dickie Atwood in 3. He's in fact in David Piper's beloved Porsche, the Flat 12. That's the one that won the 9-hour race in 1969. And behind him, interesting, is Lawrence Jacobson from Scotland. He's an architect in the little Chevron B16. It's a 2-litre Ford engine there. It is right in there with that green Porsche of Dickie Atwood. Then comes Michael Knight. He's on the second row in the Ford 3L, which we caught a glimpse of just now. And alongside him, Perry Williams. That's the Lola, the big throbbing V8 Lola. Maybe a bit too much power for the circuit, because you can see the Chevron's right in there with them. There they are. That's a lovely shot taken from the helicopter. Right-hand side is the flat 12 Porsche. Quickest in practice. They started doing 1 minute 28. Yesterday they're down to 1 minute and 12 seconds. So they really are starting to get serious about racing here. But what we're going to do is have a warm-up lap, and then the race is going to get underway. They've been giving them the 1 minute board, and then we'll have this race underway. It's going to get... that Chevron looks as nice as any Ferrari. You'll see, we just dwell on it for a moment or two as you see them. The Piper Ferrari with Dickie Atwood on the left-hand side of the road. Behind him, there's the 1 minute board going up, and then they'll be going on the pace car lap behind this 190 Mercedes, that multi-valve Mercedes going to take him around. That's the Tony Martin car. And we've got in that field, interesting there, Tony Martin himself. He's in the P2 Ferrari. That's a 4-litre V12. Also a car with a bit of a history. It won the 1965 9-hour. This is going to be a 10-lap race. It's going to take about 12 minutes or 13 minutes or so for the total race. And then that will be that one over. We're going to have it again tomorrow. Right, we're just waiting for them behind this Mercedes and then this whole field. And it's thunder here, those screaming Ferraris with that big amount of torque behind them. We've got the little Chevron that goes so well. That one really revs. We've got the big throb of those V8 Lolas. Right, now the driver's very hot in those cars that they closing the doors. Right, they're on their way now. It's 30 seconds and this field will be underway. It's a 2.5 kilometre circuit, as we've shown you a little earlier. It's got 8 corners. It's tricky, but it certainly provided a lot of action here today. You might see, we've seen Dave Hiscock. He won the 750 Phillips Tracer race a little earlier. Great drive by that 5-time South African champion from New Zealand. Right, they'll be getting underway now as they start getting all those doors closed. These people, David Piper's won 7 9-hour races at Kyle Army. He also, that Porsches are one the other day. They tried to set up the South Africa, or break the South African speed record. That's in the field on the front row of the grid. Right, we're just waiting to get all the doors closed, and this race will be underway, because they don't quite work as fast as the raceful races. And here we go. Right, it's going to be underway. So a rolling start lap behind Tony Martin's 190 Merc, just going around there. So late in the afternoon, we've got Saul van der Merwe back from the USA, come to drive a golf, and going very fast in the standing group in races. We've had motorcycle races so far, then they've moved all the straw bales, and these are the first of the car races for the afternoon. That's the right-hander Volkswagen. It's 200 meters from the start line. As they thunder around there, then it's about 300 meters up to the West Bank corner. This is a tricky one. These cars have got limited slip diffs or lock diffs, so it's going around a tight corner is a difficult one. Here they come up to the West Bank corner now. As they go into West Bank, it's sharp right and then left and then a right-hander again. As they come out of West Bank, big mob here. There's about 50,000 people, they estimate, have come out into this glorious sunshine down here in Durban. There's a shot from the air. You can see. There's the Matra, the blue one, if you've got colour. That other blue car you see in picture now is a 512 Ferrari. That's a 5-litre V12 Ferrari. There's the LM Ferrari, the green one. This is round Berryman. This has caught a couple of motorcyclists out today. Here we come round Berryman. It's the hairpin. They've got to take it very carefully. There you find as the race goes on, these cars tend to lose their brakes. Well, these brakes start to fade. And you don't have the straights long enough to actually get in and cool the brakes. So you find they've got to take earlier braking marks going into these tight corners as the brakes start to fade. They do a lot of hard work on this circuit. It's 500 meters brake, 400 kilometers brake, 150 meters brake. That's how it goes as they go around the circuit. There's the chevron of Gary Dunkley. The 512 Ferrari, in fact, looks like 6 in the front there, but on the side somewhere, all tucked away, is the number 12. But here they come. There's the Atwood Ferrari in the front, the Ford 3L. Not many people have seen that one, number 1. There they come round. Tommy Dunn's in there. He's lying in on the 4th row of the grid, alongside David Piper in the Matra. Tommy's in the Pickford's Lola. He won, as I say, in East London. You can see him in that red car. Don't they look absolutely magnificent? A big field as they come around the back of the Kings Park Stadium. You can just see how everybody's packed in around the circuit, and we're getting ready for the off. It's going to be a rolling start. There's going to be thunder and screaming of engines. You can actually smell the hot tires as the circuit takes it out of man and machine. No doubt about it. You can smell the hot clutches and brakes. It's really everything, and the Castrol off. Right, the Mercedes is making way for the racing cars. It's getting off the circuit. Here it comes now, and they're about to go. They come across the line. It's the Piper, the Atwood Ferrari, the Porsche goes into the front. Got the inside first. The Chevron goes in the front. Lawrence Jacobson, the 2-litre Chevrons, a magnificent looking little motor car, has gone to the front. It's the V16 Chevron in the front. Then it's the Atwood Porsche. Then it's a 908 Porsche. It looks like Ustermuth Porsche coming there in 3rd position. There's Dunkley. There's the 512 Ferrari. We're looking way. There's the GT40 of David Cohn as they come down towards us. The Chevron, the V16 Chevron, leading the flat 12 Porsche with Dickie Atwood in the wheel.
Wat onderal uitgetrekt en daar zijn nog steeds voor Dickie Atwood. Dickie Atwood is die man wat al voor geruime tijd een van die meest bekende namen in hierdie supersportmotors is. Maar Jacobson van Schotland heeft die dingen daar gedaan en hij is niet de eerste positie in de nummer 30. Verder af in het veld, daar het ons voor Atwood en die Porsche, dit is die Porsche 1907. En zoals Roger vroeger gezegd, dit is die ene wat hulle so rukkie terug die Suid-Afrikaanse snelheidsrecord hier wou opstellen daar onder in die kaap. Maar Jacobson is net in die Lola, dit is die Chevron, is de Chevron B16, 2 Chevron, is nou bezig om helemaal onder die 1907 Porsche uit te krijgen. En waar is Piper, David Piper, is in die Matra Ford, je kan zien hij is die oopmotor, Matra Ford van zo'n 5,7 liter. Maar daar is Lawrence Jacobson en die Chevron B16 nog steeds voor Richard Atwood en die Porsche 907. Dan is het Perry Williams en die 72 Lola. So daar is die eerste en derde posities, is al twee Lolas, die 72 Lolas. En als we eens kijken naar Williams met een kleine machine in, want dit is die 5,7 liter. Altijd 3 liter. So een klein verschilletje wat daar hier en daar tussen is. David Piper is daar in die 5e positie met die Matra Ford. En hier zo komt die voorloper, dit is Jacobson en dan is het Atwood. Daar achterom uitzonderlijk ontwerpte motors. Mensen krijgen niet meer hierdie type van ontwerpen nie. Die gevormde motorskerms. Dit laat ons terugdenken aan die goede oud dae. En ook nog die is ons denk aan die Jaguar, die E-type Jaguar, waar die selfe type van rondings het. Daar die ontwerpen gaan ons niet makkelijk weer zien. So hier is dit werkelijk waar museums op wielen wat ons hier zien. Museums op wielen met een redelijke groot klomp geld waarde achter hulle. Maar Richard Atwood en zekerlijk David Piper is een van de meest bekende mannen wat in die laat 60 en vroege 70 baie succesvol deelgeneem het met hierdie uitzonderlijke motors. Die Porsches, die Ferraris, die Porsches met die plak 6'en, die plak 12 machine en dan ook die 412 Porsche, die 412 Ferraris wat uitstekend voorbereid is en wat ons allemaal baie goed ken. Maar Lawrence Jacobson is die man in beeld en die Chevron B16 nog steeds voor. Dan volgt die Richard Atwood en die Porsche 917. Dan is het Colin Perry Williams en nog een Lola T70, Stuart Graham en die andere Lola en Tommy Dunn wat in Londen gevindt en nog een Lola. Zodat als op hierdie stadium 3 Lolas in die derde, vierde en vijfde positie. David Piper is zesde en zijn man was voor. En Michael Knight in die zevende positie in die F3L wat ontwerp is net na die GT40. Maar dit is Jacobson van Schotland op hierdie stadium wat die toon aangee en net achterom is het Dickie Edward, maar hy kan ook nie baie nader om kom nie.
It is the first time at a race circuit around South Africa the whole crowd is standing up in their seats and watching these cars. It's really turned them on. Everywhere you look there's people actually standing. And the car in the lead is the Lawrence Jacobs Chevron, but Dickie Edwards there in the Porsche, sounding glorious as it comes through. The whole crowd, as I say, standing. There's Dickie Edwards. Third is Perry Williams. It's the Spider Lola. In fact, he's just been passed out by Stuart Graham. Has got his car up into third. That's the Chevron. There they come, just down behind the road. Here they come. This is the race that's going on where it's really starting to happen. Perry Williams has been passed by Stuart Graham. There's Stuart Graham, a Suzuki Works rider, Honda Works rider. There's the open Lola, that's the Lola Spider. That T70, Perry Williams is in that one. And Tommy Dunn in the Pickfords, there they come. Tommy Dunn in the Pickfords, Pickford's Lola is just ahead there of Michael Knight in the Ford 3L. It's the 3-litre V8. Tommy Dunn's got a big American V8 5-litre there. As they power out of there, it's all acceleration. They just put their foot down on the road and they really tear out of that top corner. Tommy Dunn's now moved. He's moving in for the kill. As I see David Piper just behind him. If you've got colour, you can see him in that blue Matra. The David Piper cars normally were always painted in green and unfamiliar green. The 512 Ferraris in green. Don't they look absolutely glorious? And actually lapping on our circuits, where they've been racing before, about 3 or 4 seconds a lap faster than they ever did in their heyday in the late 60s and early 70s. So it just shows these drivers are really pushing them on. It's like a whole museum out there racing and really racing. And that's where the dice is. Tommy Dunn wants past. He wants past ahead of that Perry Williams Lola. That's the Lola Spider. And here's somebody's blown it. Someone's blown. That's the F. That's the Ferrari. Oh, that's bad news. There's a big Lola. That one is blown a Terry Smith Lola, so he'll be out of 8th position. He'll have to slow down. Just ahead of him you can see Bernd Becker, who can actually smell that hot oil as he came past us there. As I say, it's the smell of tyres and hot oil and brakes and clutches on the circuit as they really torture the machinery. Tommy Dunn getting lots of pressure from Michael Knight in that Ford 3L. As they come towards us, that Lola once past, has he got enough room to do as he comes down to the chicane. It's 500 metres the chicane. He's looking at that Lola of Perry Williams. Ahead of him, Stuart Graham just going out of shot. Tommy Dunn's right in there with the Lola, the Ford 3L, pushing him all the way there. They've done 4 laps of this 10-lap race. They've nearly finished 5 laps, but this is where the race is. No doubt about it, as they go round that sweep and just power. They leave black lines from the rubber on their tyres as they put all this horsepower to about 475, 500 horsepower going down on the road. It's Grand Prix horsepower that these racing cars of a former era, this racing history, actually produce, and they're using it all. And Tommy Dunn is saying to me that when he first got into the car, he thought, what have I done with all this power? But now he's enjoying it so much, he just wants to race them permanently. He loves it. So it's Jacobson now. At the halfway mark, it's Jacobson in the little the B16 Chevron, the architect in the front, Dickie Atwood second in the Porsche, the 917. Stuart Graham is third, and he was the champion last year. And that's where that other big race. And no, the Ford 3L is challenging. Has he got the brakes to stay on the inside? Tommy Dunn is looking in his mirrors. He sees him across there. And Knight is going to go on the inside. Is he? No, they can't take it too tight a turn. They've almost got to turn it on the back wheels by just putting the power on as they come away down to the chicane.
En daar die Ford, die F3L, wat as mens 'n bietjie van agteraf kyk, sien hoe breed die wiele is en hoe die dak byna gelyk met die agterste modderskerms is, 'n uitsonderlike ontwerp. Maar dit is Michael Knight in die Ford F3L en David Piper net daar agter hom, maar Tommy Dunn wat die wedren, daar sy in die Pickford Lola, wat die wedren gewen het in Londen, wil alles in sy vermoë doen om daai posisie van hom te hou. So daar is hy mooi in beeld nou, nommer 11, Tommy Dunn met sy Lola T70, die merk 3B. En hy het 'n 5-liter masjien wat hy daarin hom het, en agter hom is die F3L Ford van Michael Knight net daar agter hom. Maar daar is terug by die voorloper en is Jacobsen en Edward wat dan dinge nog uitspoor. Daar is die Beringman draai, die 360 grade draai. Jy gaan net presies terug in jou spore. Maar kom ons kyk daar. Die vinnigste sover is Jacobsen met 1 minuut 13,3 met 127 km/h en dit vir 'n gemiddeld in hierdie baie nou baan en baie draaierige baan van Durban is dit glad nie 'n slegte tyd wat opgestel word deur Jacobsen nou in beeld en agter hom is dit Edward, Dickie Edward, Richard Edward in die Porsche 917 en dit lyk vir my asof Edward hierdie keer ernstig wil gaan raak. Dickie Edward wil baie graag by daai nommer 30 verbykom, by die Lola verbykom. Die Porsche van Dickie Edward. Kom ons kyk. Daar's 3 rondes oor. Dit het my gelyk asof hy dalk iets gaan doen in daai kort poulvakkies. Die poulvakke is so tussen 300 en 500 meter lank. So daar is werklik waar nie baie wat gedoen kan word nie. En ons wag om te kyk of Edward enigstens dit van reg kry om nader te skuif en om weer te kom in die Porsche 917 5 liter met 'n plat 6 Porsche masjien en die man heel voor is nommer 30. En ons kyk na die verskil, die Chevron B16 is maar 2 liter Ford masjien en die groot Porsche, die 917 Porsche kan net nie by hom kom nie. Weer eens is dit die Beringman draai. Daar kan ons sien hoe wyd Dickie Edward inderdaad die draai vat. Baie wyd wat hy die draai neem en die groot breë bande van hom klou vas as laat deur van natuurlik die deurslaggewende faktor hier is die versnelling uit die draai uit. Want aangesien die pylvakke nie baie lank is en jy nie onsaglike 'n voorsprong kan opbou nie, is dit die man wat die vinnigste uit die draai kan uitkom. Want as gevolg van die skerp draaie in hierdie baan moet die motors redelik stadiger gaan en dit is dan deurslaggewend van die man wat die vinnigste deurtrek uit die draai uit waaraan die beste posisie gaan neem. Maar Jacobsen is in 'n baie goeie posisie. Ons ook in gedagte hou dat die baan baie nou is en daar is nie baie plek om juist verby te gaan. Dat ons baie dink aan Monaco waar die baan baie nou is. Maar kyk, Edward in daai plat 917 Porsche wil deurkom. Daar kan ons die ontwerpverskil sien. Die plat Porsche, dit is eintlik David Piper se Porsche daai waarmee Dickie Edward ry. Daar is een van die GT40, die Ford GT40 wat nou verby gegaan word. En die Westbank draai kan ons sien hoe nou die baan inderdaad is en hoe hulle mekaar verby moet bringel en die groot sementblokke wat daar wag vir enige man wat 'n klein foutjie maak en dit hier foute gemaak word. Maar kom ons kyk wat maak Edward. Edward op hierdie stadium is die vinnigste rondetyd van hy het hom afgebring na 1 minuut 11 sekondes. 1 minuut 11 sekondes en dit is uitsonderlik. Dit lyk vir my asof hy op hierdie stadium vinniger is as Jacobsen, maar daar is net nie vir my goeie genoeg geleentheid om by te kom, maar terwyl ek praat is hy verby. Dickie Edward is verby Jacobsen en dit is presies waarvoor hy gewag het. Hy het net gewag vir daai geleentheid want ons sien dat hy die vinnigste rondetyd opgestel. So sy motor is inderdaad daartoe in staat om vinniger te gaan. Ons weet hy het 'n 5 liter masjien teenoor die 3 liter van Jacobsen en is net 'n kwessie van plek gewees. Hy het gewag vir die regte geleentheid om verby te gaan en dit wys ons waar die taktiek wat oor die jare al geleer is en die ondervinding van Dickie Edward het hierso die deurslag gegee. Roger.
And he certainly did there. That was real great driving there by Dickie Edward, the Dickie Edward we've known of old, tactician. I saw the Lawrence Jacob desperately looking in his mirrors as he was coming up on him and just trying to desperately, as I say, stay ahead of him. It's Atwood in the front, Jacobsen in second. In fact, it was David Piper we saw stopped up at Beringman corner there. He got out of the motor car. He must have had a little bit of a shunt. It's the brakes that are giving the trouble. And let's face it, this circuit looks a lot like a mini Monte Carlo or cross between that and Le Mans with the Armco, with these sports cars in action. And they don't look much different from the modern sports car. They haven't got the aerodynamics, they haven't got the wings, and they haven't got the ground effects. But they certainly look the part, and they are producing mighty horsepower as they go around the circuit. Past Gary Dunkley go, they're coming up on Cupolini now in the 275 Ferrari. That's also a 9-hour winner that we had out here in South Africa. Tony Martin's down to the pack. He's lying at 8th position at the moment as we're going now to the line, and Jacobsen is being pushed out. He's got no chance of catching Dickie Edwards. They come up to the line. There's Jacobsen desperately trying to get through in the B16 Chevron to finish this Yellow Pages International Super Sports Car race, and here he comes to the line. There he is. Dickie Edwards comes across in that green motor car and wins it in the Porsche 917. There he is with Lawrence Jacobsen second in the B16, the 2-litre Chevron. Third, the former Suzuki and Honda Works rider Stuart Graham, and the 1987 champion in this former racing in his Lower. Fourth was Perry Williams. This big crowd has really enjoyed this race. Michael Knight was next in the Ford, getting home just ahead of Tommy Dunn in the Lola. Bernd Becker was next in the Porsche 910, and Tony Martin coming home in the Ferrari P2 in 8th position. So Dickie Atwood, a great win in the David Piper Porsche 917. Lawrence Jacobson, the 2-litre Chevron B16, ahead of the 1987 Sportscar champion Stuart Graham from the UK. Great racing in this Yellow Pages International Super Sports Car.